The Telephony Application Programming Interface is a Microsoft Windows API, which provides computer telephony integration and enables PCs running Microsoft Windows to use telephone services. Different versions of TAPI are available on different versions of Windows. TAPI allows applications to control telephony functions between a computer and telephone network for data, fax, and voice calls. It includes basic functions, such as dialing, answering, and hanging up a call. It also supports supplementary functions, such as hold, transfer, conference, and call park found in PBX, ISDN, and other telephone systems. TAPI is used primarily to control either modems or, more recently, to control business telephone system handsets. When controlling a PBX handset, the driver is provided by the manufacturer of the telephone system. Some manufacturers provide drivers that allow the control of multiple handsets. This is traditionally called third-party control. Other manufacturers provide drivers that allow the control of a single handset. This is called first-party control. Third-party drivers are designed to allow applications to see and/or control multiple extensions at the same time. Some telephone systems only permit one third-party connection at a time. First-party drivers are designed to allow applications to monitor and/or control one extension at a time. Telephone systems naturally permit many of these connections simultaneously. Modem connections are by nature first-party. TAPI can also be used to control voice-enabled telephony devices, including voice modems and dedicated hardware such as dialogic cards. History: TAPI was introduced in 1993 as the result of joint development by Microsoft and Intel. The first publicly available version of TAPI was version 1.3, which was released as a patch on top of Microsoft Windows 3.1. Version 1.3 drivers were 16-bit only. Version 1.3 is no longer supported, although some MSDN development library CDs still contain the files and patches. With Microsoft Windows 95, TAPI was integrated into the operating system. The first version on Windows 95 was TAPI 1.4. TAPI 1.4 had support for 32-bit applications. The TAPI standard supports both connections from individual computers and LAN connections serving any number of computers. TAPI 2.0 was introduced with Windows NT 4.0. Version 2.0 was the first version on the Windows NT platform. It made a significant step forward by supporting ACD and PBX-specific functionality. In 1997, Microsoft released TAPI version 2.1. This version of TAPI was available as a downloadable update and was the first version to be supported on both the Microsoft Windows 95 and Windows NT/2000 platforms. TAPI 3.0 was released in 1999 together with Windows 2000. This version enables IP telephony by providing simple and generic methods for making connections between two or more computers and now also offers the ability to access any media streams involved in the connection. Windows XP included both TAPI 3.1 and TAPI 2.2. TAPI 3.1 supports the Microsoft Component Object Model and provides a set of COM objects to application programmers. This version uses file terminals which allow applications to record streaming data to a file and play this recorded data back to a stream. A USB phone teaspoon was also included which allows an application to control a USB phone and use it as a streaming endpoint. TAPI 3.0 or TAPI 3.1 are not available on operating systems earlier than Windows 2000 and Windows XP respectively. The Telephony Server Application Programming Interface is a similar standard developed by Novell for network servers. TAPI 2X versus TAPI 3X. It is a common misconception that TAPI 3.0 replaces TAPI 2X. TAPI 2X and earlier versions were written in C. The API uses pointers to structures. Consequently, TAPI 2X is easy to access from C or C++ applications, but it can be awkward to use from many other programming languages. TAPI3X was designed with a component object model interface. This was done with the intent of making it accessible to higher-level applications such as developed in VB or other environments that provide easy access to COM but don't deal with C-style pointers. TAPI3X is a slightly different set of functionality than TAPI2X. The addition of integrated media control was the most significant addition. But TAPI3X doesn't include all functionality that TAPI2X does, like support for the phone class. One very notable issue with TAPI3X is the lack of support for managed code. As documented in Microsoft KB Article 841712, Microsoft currently has no plans to support TAPI3X directly from .NET programming languages. However, Mark Smith has provided a managed C++ library called ITAPI3 and other developers such as Mondego provide .NET libraries to work indirectly with TAPI-enabled PBXs. One often overlooked reason an application developer might choose between TAPI2X and TAPI3X should be the hardware vendor's recommendation. Even though TAPI provides an abstract model of phone lines, telephony applications are still heavily impacted by the specific behavior of the underlying hardware. Troubleshooting behavior issues usually requires both software and hardware vendors to collaborate. Because there is almost a one-one relationship between the TAPI service provider interface and the TAPI2X interface, collaboration is often easier if the application is designed using TAPI2X. Experience with TAPI3X varies significantly between hardware vendors. TAPI-compliant hardware, telephony hardware that supports TAPI includes most voice modems and some telephony cards such as Dialogic cards. The following telephone systems provide TAPI drivers. Often these are only available for 32-bit operating systems. Many of these drivers are licensed and thus incur a charge to use. In other cases, alternative drivers are available for separate purchase from IQNet Solutions, C4BCom for Business, Estos and Mondego. See also, TSAPI, JTAPI, Microsoft NetMeeting, Microsoft Telephone Number Format, Telephony Service Provider, H323. External links, MSDN Library about TAPI, Andreas Marshall's TAPI and TSPI FAQ. Former TAPI MVP Michael Dunn's TAPI FAQ, www.tapi.info Wiki site about TAPI, way to call, telephony modem, TAPI-compliant telephony device, Exaltel tools, telephony development tools for VCL, ActiveX, and .NET TAPI programming, Gilmar TAPI.NET and ITAPI3, Teaspoon++ for TSPI development, and samples, IQNet Solutions, Phone PC CTI, Telephony middleware for TAPI, Voice CTI, Telephony software for TAPI, ESTOS, Mondego, C4BCom for Business, XPHONE TAPI server.